So I really do love seeing the stories that come about and then how it can help inspire kids to maybe get off a negative track that they might be going on. As well as it's really interesting to see, like right now we have a judge for the criminal circuit court here today, so it's interesting to see like her role in this that some people might not think is as important as like a standard criminal court or a more adult focused thing, but it's nice to see like how the communities can interact to provide some benefit for the kids that come here. I know a lot of them have been, defendants for the teen court, and then seeing them come back, like even a few that I've overseen the cases of have come back and they're like helping the sentences of other kids, and it's very impactful to see that they are realizing what might have been wrong for them to do to kind of get back on a path that will be leading to more success in the future. I think one of the big ways it's impacted me is just kind of giving me some experience in the courtroom, especially, as well as I like interacting with Gainesville's community as well, and it's kind of given me a deeper insight to like, I'm a student at UF, so I don't I didn't grow up here, but it's cool seeing like the different middle schools and high schools that are represented here and like how the kids can, help impact each other. And yeah, it's just a nice community experience as well. I think for the teens in particular, especially those on the jury, they get to see people who are their peers go through different cases. Like we get a lot of battery cases, we get a lot of drugs cases, and the judges in particular can imbue them with like this sense of you really have to take a look at what you're doing right now and decide, is that where you want to end up? How is this impacting your family? How is this impacting your friends? And just to see them kind of, a lot of them do start to get it, like that this experience is kind of like a trial run for what might happen if they continue in the future to have not be making the right choices. So both for the jury, the defendants, and the families, it's really a great opportunity for them to understand that this will have an effect on them, and it's great to see when they can turn it around. I think community involvement and then like being able to, kind of cross the boundary of age, because I'm not too much older than them, but enough that it's kind of hard to like be able to have a conversation with them. So I think, or like in general with the high school, middle school kids. So I think that's a beneficial thing for anyone to be learning if they're going into something community oriented, like I'm hoping to go into public policy or law. So it's been a good experience in kind of breaching those boundaries, as well as just general skills like administrative and delegating, stuff like that. I am an advocate for like rehabilitation in prison systems. I think that there's a lot of bias that goes into sentencing, as I had said earlier. And I think that restorative programs like this really are valuable to the community as a whole, because you're not just like, there's an incentive to not do it again. And through programs like these, kids are able to kind of see their peers in the same places they were and go through enough steps to get affiliated or to get to know like what's happening in the process, to get to, they do community service hours, they do jury sessions as part of the program, and this kind of gives them the idea of what they would this is like kind of an easy way not to go into the system more permanently. Like some kids will even get tours of the jails or get to go to a real criminal defense trial. And it's kind of almost like a wake-up call that they get this chance to kind of be able to turn things around for themselves. I think that a lot of the time it is worth having a second chance, because a lot of kids, you know, like we get some cases where they've been bullied and so they lash out, and while they might not feel like that was wrong, they still get penalized for it. But having this kind of ability to say, hey, like, you can't do this, is so helpful for people that would otherwise get sent to juvie. Like maybe they wouldn't have done something necessarily to necessitate that, but because of how they were incarcerated or picked up on charges, like they couldn't have avoided that. So I think teen court is a really valuable thing for a lot of kids that, you know, have done something and it was maybe their first offense. They didn't really know what they were getting into. There's a lot of ground for the gray area in this system. So I think that it's super helpful in kind of telling them, yes, you did something wrong, but you can be able to redeem yourself. And this isn't just throwing you into the path that going to juvie, like you don't get that second chance. I think that I would advocate for more participation in this kind of program, because these are people's lives that are being helped by the program. I think that having empathy for people who might not be in the same position as us, who have troubles beyond whatever they were picked up on, like family issues, wealth issues, education. There's a lot of things that we don't know and we can't judge just by looking at it. So I think that if anyone, you know, put themselves in the position, anyone would want a second chance. Anyone would want the ability to redeem themselves for something that they knew that they did that wasn't right, or that, you know, they might have felt was justified, but they now know that they can't do that kind of thing. So I just think that there's a real need for that empathy right now. I think one of the most rewarding parts for me is it's like seeing kids that have been defendants come in, and like a lot of kids enjoy themselves here. They enjoy being a part of the process. And a lot of them that enjoyed the most were former defendants. So seeing them take this kind of active role in shaping the futures of others, but also like what they say as their sentence can kind of be a wake-up call to whoever they're saying it to. And it's kind of like a big community of people that are dedicated to helping each other. I think it's really rewarding being a part of that in whatever way I can. It's really not like, it seems kind of frightening to be like in an official courtroom, but it's really, teen court is one of the least like frightening ones, I would think, is because like the staff is they're all very passionate about what they're doing, and it's not so official, scary as it might seem coming to the sheriff's department, the court office. Like I was very nervous on my first time here, but it's really a rewarding experience that outweighs the kind of frightening aspect. So I think that anybody who has a dedication to community involvement, or just like I started out just wanting to have some courtroom experience, I think anyone who would, even if you're not like super into like working with kids, I think it's still a worthwhile experience to kind of see this often ignored facet of our justice system. I think it's important for people to support these kinds of things for the second chance aspect. There's a lot of injustice in the criminal justice system, as ironic as it sounds to say it out loud. But there were a lot of programs in the past that focused on mass incarceration that led to the inequity in the prison system as it is, and the rehabilitative programs that we are currently seeing more implementation of deserve the chance to prove themselves as beneficial to the community as a whole, rather than just taking criminals off the street, putting them in jails, and kind of writing them off as citizens. There's real hope for rehabilitative programs that can prove that people aren't all, like dangerous to society or what have you. They are worth putting in the effort and time and resources to put them back on a track that will be beneficial to everyone, and that will allow them to have a life that is, not spent in a jail cell or whatever,